Who's the person that's number one on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
The rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody.
Is P. Diddy a government psyops? Were his parties intended to trap people and force them to comply to an agenda? Keep watching as we explore this reality. In a world filled with mysteries, questions, and conspiracies, #AwakeYet offers real-world information to provide answers that will help you think outside the box, to offer alternatives to perceived reality that we have been led to believe.
Questions about Diddy's behavior over the years.
The rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody. Who knows what's real?
That's what Diddy's lawyers, I think, said. It was like that. These are just trumped up charges, not true.
When Homeland Security invade your house,
you got problems.
This all happening after Homeland Security investigations agents descended on his multi-million-dollar Los Angeles home yesterday. They could be seen carrying out boxes and bags of evidence. In Miami yesterday, a similar scene. HSI agents seen taking away evidence, including a laptop.
The speed at which it appears these raids were conducted suggests that agents were concerned that they needed to secure evidence quickly and prevent anyone from destroying evidence before they got there.
One lawsuit updated just yesterday by a New York artist named Rodney Jones. He alleges sex trafficking, drugs, guns, and inappropriate abuse of minors were all part of an organized enterprise, with some of the activity allegedly taking place at Combs Properties. Lawyers for Combs in the past have denied any wrongdoing, but have not commented since yesterday's raids. Federal prosecutors in New York have interviewed numerous women who allege wrongdoing, sources tell us, and former R&B singer and Combs' one-time partner Cassie has accused him of physically and sexually abusing her for years. Combs settled that lawsuit a day after it was filed.
Someone said that they weren't there to take stuff, they were there to delete everything.
Oh,
like
that's
the same
funny.
thing with Epstein.
Oh, that's funny. They never end. There's just layers upon layers upon layers. Genuinely.
Psychological operations. PSYOPs are operations to convey selected information and indicators to audiences to influence their motives and objective reasoning, and ultimately the behavior of governments, organizations, groups, and large foreign powers.
Not all battles are fought with lethal force on a battlefield. Military operations often require a more unconventional, non-lethal approach, one that uses the power of influence to strategically shape and change attitudes, values, and beliefs. Trained in influence techniques, psychological operations soldiers, also known as PSYOP, are experts in their field. PSYOP soldiers support commanders, U.S. ambassadors, allies, and other governmental agencies.
Psychological operations, that's the future of conflict, whether from a strategic or anti-insurgency standpoint. Psychological operations and the whole mental field is really going to be where that fight is.
The Manchurian Candidate was a 1959 political thriller by Richard Condon. The book details a conspiracy where a U.S. soldier, Raymond Shaw, is captured during the Korean War and brainwashed by Chinese and Soviet agents.
On foreign shores or at home, where you go by your wings you'll be known.
Yes, by these wings you'll be known. You'll be recognized throughout the world as one of America's Knights of the Sky, an Air Force pilot. If you are single between 19 and 26 and a half, you can join this chosen few. You'll train as an aviation cadet and graduate a lieutenant, earning more than $5,000 a year.
In the movie, Manchurian Candidate. His brainwashing is later activated by the communists to lead Shaw to assassinate a U.S. presidential candidate so that his running mate, Senator Iselin, will win overwhelming support. Iselin has been put in place by his power broker wife, also Shaw's mother, to install a Chinese communist dictatorship.
I told them to build me an assassin. I wanted a killer from a world filled with killers, and they chose you. Because they thought it would bind me closer to them. But now we have come almost to the end. One last step. And then when I take power, they will be pulled down and ground into dirt for what they did to you. And what they did in so contemptuously underestimating.
Did you know? The patent was granted by the U.S. Patent Office in 1994. This device, U.S. Patent 5356368, method of and apparatus for inducing desired states of consciousness, can put people into these 4 states of consciousness. That is accomplished by superimposing pre-recorded brainwave patterns into your brain. The CIA has been involved in many top-secret programs throughout the years where they have walked the line of questionable activities that have most likely been illegal or just morally wrong. A conversation between a CIA contract officer and an undercover news journalist was discovered, where they discussed how the CIA uses situations or people to accomplish their covert psyops.
I work like this without, I'm not supposed to tell people kind of job. I say intelligence, what do you think?
CIA?
Yep.
Oh, you work for the CIA?
I do.
That's incredible.
Contracting officer.
That's amazing.
So I deal a lot with like different agencies. We're contracting with like Director of National Intelligence to do stuff. We do Navy, Army, any of them really.
As long as the Bureau is able to progress far enough to be able to put pro-lifers in jail whenever they want.
Yeah.
You think that's on the agenda?
You can kind of put anyone in jail if you know what to do.
How?
You set them up. You create the situation to where they have no choice but to act on their impulse. And once they act on that impulse, then we call that entrapment. It's a fine line.
Does the Bureau practice entrapment a lot?
We get really close.
Not officially?
No. We get as close as we can. We get as close as we can to it without doing it.
So they can entrap some of these pro-lifers into doing things that they don't.
Yeah. We call it a nudge.
A nudge.
Sometimes you just gotta give them a quick little, just to see what happens, right?
How does that happen?
You put a post out there, or you have someone fake profile, say something that triggers, that we know is going to trigger them, right? Like, we already know your history. If we're to that point, we already know everything about it. So we're like, oh, this will piss them off. Sometimes you light the fuse and just wait for it to follow, right?
Like a railing, like a, so when a rally happens, that's sometimes the Bureau behind it?
Sometimes. And that's when we're putting out a fake social media thing to like really get people mad. Well, it's fake news. Sometimes it's not fake. It's embellished a little bit.
Who would be like a big influencer that you're after? You're like a, I don't know, like a, I don't even know these names. Like a Fox News person, or like a Tucker Carlson, or like Alex Jones.
Yeah. So we were after him.
You are? Are you still after him? Why?
Because he's broke. He got found guilty and had to pay like $100 million.
So why were you after him?
We're not anymore.
Just to get the money from him?
Yeah.
Was that court case used? Was that in CIA?
It was.
That was the agency thing?
Actually, it was a defamation case. So it's a civil, not government. But we were looking at all of his followers, commenting, following, like, who's that going to be this to, right? So even though it's technically not our, well, not the agency, definitely, but the Bureau, for instance, yeah, it's not our purview. It's a civil matter. And since they got all this access to his stuff, and it's there, what can we go find?
And did you find it?
I can't tell you we did. But, so, it's just kind of like, realize the opportunity that you have.
So with Alex Jones, you were watching him long before anything ended up happening.
Probably. It wasn't my office, but, I mean, we would have been well aware of what he was doing.
And the goal with him was what? Just to bankrupt him?
Oh, pretty much. And we let the families do it.
And what?
We let the families do it.
Were they encouraged to do that by the Bureau? Like nudged?
We don't encourage people.
But like,
we just say there's no federal statute being broken. But you do have the option for a civil case. And it's a pretty good case.
A lot of these cases, they're kind of encouraged by the FBI.
Yeah, like there's nothing federal law we can do, but civilly, just go at him that way. Like, chop his legs off.
And they did. So the FBI was happy.
We didn't care. We were like, oh.
Basically, the citizens did your job.
Yeah.
So you can encourage a civil lawsuit.
Not encourage. Educate.
Was P. Diddy's illegal activities uncovered and exploited by the CIA as a covert operation to gain information on people in an attempt to have leverage over them? How long did the CIA know about P. Diddy's parties, drugs and human trafficking, exploitations of sex and prostitution? Did the CIA uncover all this and give P. Diddy a nudge in the right direction? Help him elude the authorities in trade for info on top elected officials, influential people, celebrities, and others, forcing people into compromising situations, setting them up in blackmail, recording these compromises, and using it as leverage of control. Was this P. Diddy's scheme to get rich, gain top celebrity status, control, and popularity? Or was this a scheme with many nefarious intentions? And does this parallel with Jeffrey Epstein? You decide and post your comment in the comment section below.